the way, and and some people got big ears. I went to school with a guy, we called him Buttercup, and he had big old ears, And so he wanted to hide his ears, and back those days they had the hippie, so he could do it very well. He just grew about a ton of hair and he could hide the whole thing. But the thing is, the ears are very important. And just because the ears said, I'd like to be the eye, I'd like to be around the front of the head instead of the side of it. If I wonder how our head would look if we had an ear on one eye and an eye on the ear. Wouldn't it be a funny looking critter, wouldn't we, with our ears and eyes mixed up? And I wonder how we would see to walk straight ahead if our eyes was on the side where our ears are. We'd probably run into things, So listen, God has created the body to function perfectly. Perfect. The body functions perfectly with the eyes and the ears and the hands and the feet. Everything where it is. Everything doing what it's supposed to do. And every one of it being controlled by the head. And it's perfect. And that's the way the church is. God has set up the church, and He has put it in a position where it functions perfectly, as long as every one of us are doing what God's given us to do. And we're all just doing, we don't have to do anything extra. God doesn't expect you to do anything you cannot do. God doesn't give you a duty that He doesn't prepare you for, provide the means for. So God expects you. So here He says, if the ear shall say, because I'm not the eye, I'm not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? Just because it says, I'm not of the body because I'm not where I want to be, doesn't make any difference. It's still part of the body, isn't it? It's still where it's supposed to be. It's still there, and it can't change it. The ear can't move, no matter how much it wants to. It's stuck on the side of your head, and it can't do anything about it. And the same way with you and I. We are what God has created us to be. And I think sometimes we just need to learn to be content in your skin. Be content with who you are. Just be content that God's created you with blue eyes. It's better to have blue eyes and see than blind eyes. Be content that God's made you 5'10" or 5'11" or 7'2". I went across a guy the other day, I believe he must have been 7-something. Boy, you had to look up to this fellow. He's big, tall, young guy. I don't know if he plays basketball, but he surely ought to, because he's way up there in the clouds. But whatever God has created you to be, if God's created you to be a woman, be pleased to be a woman. Nobody said, I wish I was a man. You have too much of that going on already. Just be pleased that God made you a woman. Be the best woman you can be. If you're a man, be pleased that you're a man. And take a man's role and do a man's job. And be a man. God will be proud of you. God created you to be what you are. And we'll just say, hey, I can't add 1 inch to my height. No matter how I want to be taller, I can't be any taller. I really can't add any hair to my head. If I could, I would just get busy and I would just put a whole bunch of hair up there. But that's not my business. God adds and God subtracts. And so we just need to be content. Whatever you are. If you weigh 200 pounds, well, I don't know, maybe you can do something about that. I don't know. But be content to live in your skin and be yourself. Don't want to be somebody else. Don't be envious. If you're envious, you cheat yourself. Because when you envy somebody else, you cannot enjoy your own blessing. You cannot enjoy, boy, wasn't it nice yesterday? Yes. Go outside and the sun's shining bright, pretty and warm. And I enjoyed that. But if I'd have got up yesterday and I'd have been all uptight about something, and I'd have been all upset about somebody, and I'd have been all envious of somebody, I'd have went out there, I would have never enjoyed the sun. It would have meant anything to me, because my mind had been all clouded up. And all the beauty and all the blessings that God gives to us, Many times we cannot enjoy because we are not at peace with ourselves. And we're not at peace with God. We keep saying, God, why did you make me like this? You know, we don't have any idea why God made us like this. But God made us like this because he wanted to make us like this. And he made us for his own purpose and his own use, his own design. And so therefore we ought to be pleased with that. Verse 70, if the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where the smelling? Well, can you imagine seeing a 6-foot eye? Don't got any feet. Can't walk. Don't have a mouth, it can't talk. Don't have any ears, can't hear. Don't have any brain, can't think. Don't have any heart, must be dead. What in the world what would God create a thing like that for? No, God hasn't done that. God has taken all these pieces and put them together and made something wonderful out of it. And something functional, something useful, something that every part harmonizes with the other part. You don't think about it. When you listen to something, you don't think about, well, I'm using my ears. When you see something, you don't think, well, I'm using my eyes. When you get ready to walk from the church out to your car today, you don't think about using your feet. You just walk. I mean, everything's harmonized. Everything works together very well. Everything. And if it didn't, you'd have a problem with it. And if things are not harmonized in God's family, we have problems. And I'll tell you, when things are not harmonized, you know who's behind the disharmony? Satan. And Satan likes to get into the family of God. He likes to cause discontent, likes to cause disharmony, likes to cause division. He likes to cause people to begin to envy each other, begin to look down on each other. They look down on you because you're too wealthy, or they look down on you because you're too poor. You can't quite get it right, you know. Where's the right level, you know? But God doesn't look at us on those levels. God looks at us on, have we repented of our sin and received Jesus Christ? He gauges us on our relationship with Christ. Our relationship with Christ. How do we stand with Christ? That's what God uses as a gauge to judge us. How do we stand? Are we being obedient to God? Are we doing what he wants us to do? Are we getting along and being part of the family and doing things God wants us to do? If not, then God looks at us and says, well, we're out of harmony. We're not doing right. Verse 17, if the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling? I have a friend that has lost his sense of smell. He can't smell anything. And you know, that's dangerous. So we was on the road traveling one time, and we went into a restaurant, ordered some food, and he started eating, and the time I got my food on my fork and got it close to my face, I could smell. It wasn't good. And I said to him, Brother Murray, don't eat that, it's rotten. He said, well, I can't smell anything. And he just, to him, he didn't have any taste, doesn't have any smell. So he just eats anything they put in front of him. He don't know if it's any good or not. And you know, how do you think about your smell? You don't think about that. But why? If you couldn't smell, if your house caught fire, you couldn't smell smoke. And if your food is rotten, you can't tell that. So, you know, smell is very important. And yet we very seldom think of it. Until we hit a skunk with our car, and then all of a sudden we realize, you know, our eyes water, our smell's working fine, you know. But here it is. What would it be if we didn't have any smelling? If the whole body were hearing, if this ear that says, I wish I was the eye, and suddenly God said, okay, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll just make you the whole body. And the whole body's this big old ear. Well, they couldn't smell nothing, they couldn't see nothing, they probably couldn't hear nothing, could it? At that point, that hearing doesn't work if it doesn't have the nerves and everything to go with it. Verse 18, but now hath God set the members, every one of them in the body as they have pleased him. But now have God